Donald Trump has a devastating new weapon. It doesn't fire bullets, it doesn't explode, and it works much better when you're just talking about it. This weapon, of course, is tariffs. Tariffs don't kill soldiers. They don't annex territory. Instead, they hobble their opponent's economy. Sometimes it's a dead leg. Other times, it's a crippling blow. And Trump's favourite toy has already claimed its first victim. So let's unpack what tariffs are and why this new president has made them the cornerstone of his administration. Tariffs are essentially a tax. When a country levies tariffs on another nation's goods, it's essentially charging extra for importing stuff. Imagine this. The US levies a 10% tariff on goods from India, and Walmart buys a shipment of shirts from a factory in India for $100. Well, when the shirts arrive in the United States, the government charges Walmart an additional $10 in tariffs. So how does this hurt India? Well, Walmart might decide it's cheaper on balance to buy shirts from a US-based company instead. That means India's shirt industry gets a little dent. Tariffs can be a powerful tool for protecting your domestic industries, but they can also spark trade wars that hurt both sides. And right now, tariffs are all Donald Trump wants to talk about. You'd think he invented them, but spoilers, he didn't. So let's hop back in time to 19th century Britain. At the time, domestic corn farmers were losing money due to cheaper imported corn. So the government slapped tariffs on imports to force people to buy British. But things didn't go as intended. Food prices skyrocketed across the board and riots broke out. Eventually, the laws were repealed. So, tariffs are perfectly capable of blowing up in your face. Fast forward to today, and the basic concept remains unchanged. Tariffs make imported goods more expensive, giving local industries a competitive edge, but Trump isn't just dabbling in tariffs, he's strapped them to his waist. Trump has announced plans to impose a 10% tariff on all foreign imports, and a huge 60% tariff on goods from China. But will they work? Well, it depends on what he's looking to achieve. Let's look at a real-world example, the recent standoff with Colombia. This drama began when the US chartered several military planes to deport migrants back to Colombia. This was part of Trump's broader crackdown on illegal immigration. But Colombian President Gustavo Petro had a problem with the arrangement. He turned back 2 of those planes, stating that he would only accept deportees who were given the dignity of flying on civilian aircraft. Trump responded by slapping a 25% tariff on all imports from Colombia, threatening to raise it to 50% within a week. For context, Colombia exports over $15 billion worth of goods to the US, including petroleum, coffee, and cut flowers, yes, like the ones in a bouquet. As expected, Colombia fired back, threatening to impose tariffs on American goods. The standoff dominated headlines with commentators dissecting every move, and then it was all over. Within hours, Colombia caved. Officially, both sides claimed they had reached a mutual agreement. Unofficially, everyone knows Trump won the fight. And this fight wasn't about oil or cut flowers. This was all about deporting immigrants back to Colombia as fast and as cheaply as possible. And Trump got his wish. So what does this mean for the future? Well, for weeks now, foreign ambassadors in Washington have been scrambling to convince the US that their countries don't deserve to be hit by sanctions. Initially, there was hope that Trump was just posturing, but after Colombia, it's clear that he means business. But to be honest, he couldn't ask for a better and cheaper demonstration of his strength. The tariffs never even had to take full effect. The threat alone was enough to cause a country to back down. It's a strategy that works much like a weapon of mass destruction. Its power lies in the fear of its use. So what's next? Let's analyse what Trump actually wants. He argues that other countries are ripping off the US by flooding the market with cheap goods, everything from food to electronics to toys. His solution to this problem that he sees is to force companies to manufacture their products in the United States. But there's a flaw in his plan, and it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. Americans can't make iPhones. When the US started outsourcing their manufacturing to places like China, the Chinese got very, very good at making things, particularly complex pieces of equipment like iPhones. During Trump's first term, Apple CEO Tim Cook said that you couldn't fill a small room with American toolmakers, but in China you could fill football stadiums. Now, 95% of Apple's products are still made in China. Trump has been speaking about tariffs so much recently, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was a new idea. But remember, it's not. It was only a few years ago that Prime Minister Liz Truss spoke endlessly about growth, as if that concept had only just been discovered. Tariffs have been around for centuries. They've been used to protect industries, punish rivals, and even to start wars. What's different now is the scale and enthusiasm with which Trump is using them. Whether his strategy will work in the long term remains to be seen. For now, though, Trump's tariffs are less about economic policy and more about wielding power on the global stage. And if Colombia is any indication, this weapon might just be his most effective yet. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoy our journalism, please do consider subscribing and pressing that notification bell for when our next videos are up.